Okay, today I'm going to help you map out your entire life to success. You know what? There's only two parts of life that are, I would say, this is my own personal opinion, but I would say there's only two parts of life that are successful. Now, there's a lot of people who are too hard charging and they say, you just got to risk it all. You got to go, you got to go, you got to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very much closer to that type of person than this other one, but I want to help you understand the steps in between. But everybody actually starts out in the best part of life to have no stress, right? Okay. That is the safe part of life. Now, what does that mean? So we're going to talk about the 5 S's. You're already in the safe part of life unless you're in the struggle part of life. We'll get to that here in a second. But you start out, everyone, if you don't spend more than you can make, if you don't take risks, if you are very calculated, you're already in the safe part. Stay there and you're going to be just fine. You're going to have no stress. But usually people want more. I think I've got more inside of me. That's when you go into the struggle part of life. That's when you begin to struggle. When you struggle for so long, and you struggle, and you struggle, and you struggle, life rewards you with the scary part of life. You struggle for so long, and you get rewarded with scary. Now, scary could be your house is going to get repossessed, or your car, or foreclosed on. Your car is going to get repossessed, and they're going to turn out the lights. They're going to this, that. You don't know. You got bill collectors calling you all the time. This is the scary part of life, and you're there because you struggled, and you didn't do it in the best way. Now, let's just recap. Safe, if you hadn't have tried to stretch, there's another S. Maybe we add that. I think we are going to add that. 6 S's. We just changed that. I'm gonna write that down in my notes. So let's talk about that. If you're in the safe part of life and you try to stretch beyond your means, you're gonna begin to struggle. See, together we just expanded this concept, and now I think it really ties in properly. So you start out in the safe part of life. You stretch beyond your means. You start to struggle. You struggle so much that it gets so scary. The next part of this is you have to sacrifice something. You know what? Maybe you stretch beyond your means and you have a car that you shouldn't afford. You got too big a house. You got you buy too many shoes. You buy too many clothes. You max all your credit cards out. You are stretching beyond your means. You have to sacrifice that car. Maybe go buy a Civic. Get a used car. Don't go into debt. You have to sacrifice time. You have to make sure that you are smart enough to get yourself out of the mess that you created. But remember, if you're in a mess right now, it is going to become your message on how to achieve it. I've done all this. Maxed out every card that I had. Too many cars. That was a downfall for me. But guys, if you learn how to sacrifice your time for knowledge, your time for experience and wisdom and training. Become smarter. There's that word again. You become more so that you can do more and then you can have more. If you're going to become more, you can become someone of worth, someone who is intellectually able to achieve anything that they want to. But you have to sacrifice the time. You have to put in the work. You have to sacrifice. Now, if you sacrifice enough, you get to the next part of life. And these are bookends of what is great about life. You start out in the safe part of life. There's no stress. Just don't spend more than you make. Don't stretch. Don't struggle. Don't live in scary things. It's okay to live there if you're not built for something great, something that is going to really change you. Remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you. So, if you sacrifice enough, you can move in to the special part of life. So we added an S today. Start out with the safe part of life. You stretch yourself into something that you're not there. You're developing. You stretch. And then you begin to struggle to try to keep up with who you want to be but are not yet. And then it becomes scary. You don't know how you're going to make it through. You don't even know if you can do this. But then if you sacrifice the time, you sacrifice sometimes money, you got to buy training. You've got to buy all of these things. You've got to sacrifice the time, sacrifice the money, sacrifice your energy. Sometimes most of the time, sacrifice sleep. And then you are going to enter the special part of life. You are going to be able to do anything that you want. You need to do what is the saying? What is the saying? Sorry, I'm getting a little off track, but this is important. Do what you have to do as soon as you can so that you can do what you want to do for as long as you can. But do what you have to do. Do what you need to do first, as fast as you can, so that you can do what you want to do for as long as you can. I want people retiring when they're 30. I want people loving their jobs so much, loving the life that they have created so much that they are able to say they're retired while they're still working. Why is that weird? It shouldn't be weird. Create your own reality. So let's just recap super quick. Safe. You know what? Just don't take a risk. Don't spend more. Don't try to stretch. Don't do anything. You're already there. If you've seen people so stressed out and you don't want that and you're so scared, you know what? It's okay. Just live in that safe part of life. But if you want to stretch to become, there's that word again, become something. If you want to stretch to become something more, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle and it's going to get scary until you sacrifice for a long enough time, and then life rewards you with the special part of life. So let's just make sure that we're saying these things right. We've got the safe part of life. We've got the stretching part of life. We've got the struggle part of life. You're going to have to struggle. You're going to struggle until it becomes scary. And then when it is scary, you are going to have to sacrifice, and then you can achieve the special part of life. Special is no stress. Safe is no stress. Your book ended, but it's a long road. A long road between that first step and the sixth step. Remember, we added an S today. I love it. Stretch. Humans are just like rubber bands. They're only useful if they're stretched. Now, me personally, I encourage you to stretch yourself to be something more, but start sacrificing now. You don't have to live in the scary part of life if you know how to sacrifice sooner than later. Because sacrifice is so necessary that you have to go through it. So if you want to bypass the scary part of life, you can move from the struggle and do struggle and sacrifice at the same time. Most older people learn that part the hard way. I'm telling you right now, the struggle and the sacrifice go hand in hand. Just be smart about it. There's another S word. I'm not going to add it. Don't worry. We don't want to redo too much. But safe, stretch, struggle, scary, sacrifice, special. We're going to keep it going, even though my camera just overheated and turned off. But you've got my audio. Thank you so much. This is the Final Percent Podcast. Be before you can do before you can have. Those are the 6 S's of life. Thank you so much. This is Greg Kimball with the Final Percent Podcast.